See, I wouldn't say Nana K is a bad friend. I just feel like in her friendship with Junko, she could not provide any value to Junko. So it was always going to be a one way type of friendship, right? Because Nana K is the way that she is and Junko is the way that she is, Junko was always going to be forced into that motherly role if she was going to remain friends with Nana K, right? Nana K is not near as mature as her or responsible as Junko. You know, she has a totally different mindset. So even just the way she thinks, she can't really give Junko advice. You get what I'm trying to say? Valuable advice that would help Junko in her life. So Junko was always going to be forced in a role of like just giving, and never really receiving, right? But she still chooses to remain Nana K's friend, which is fine. But I wouldn't say Nana K is a bad person now, right? If you're talking about like Nana K admitting to being manipulative and, you know, pretending and putting on a facade of being like ditzy when she really knows what's going on and all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't necessarily say she's a bad person, right? But I would say she's all those things. Like, okay, she's selfish, she's immature, is manipulative. Those type of things. I would use those words instead of just saying she's a bad person. Because ultimately, Nana K isn't a bad person, right? Again, we see that in Nana where, people who could be considered good can do effed up things, right? Or can do messed up stuff to people that they care about, people that they don't care about, whatever the case is. But overall, as a person, you wouldn't necessarily consider them bad. Everybody has their flaws, right? I wouldn't say there's really a person that's just 100% bad. First things people gonna think about is Takumi. But again, even with him, right? Majority of the fandom doesn't want to admit it, right? But even with Takumi, yes, the way he does stuff sexually, absolutely not. No justification, no excuse. But he's not just out here R-wording women, if that makes sense. You get what I'm trying to say? He's not just, pick him up, put him down, do this, do that. Just 100% bad person. They also, like, the author makes sure to show there's another side of him where, okay, he does want to be a provider. Like, he's going to manage things and make sure everybody stays above float. He's trying to protect the image of Trapness and ultimately the image of everybody else and all this kind of, like, you get me? So everything does fall on Takumi. So it's like, of course, everybody be like, no, he's 100% bad, worst person. And that's fine. If you don't like Takumi, that's completely fine. But the author goes out of her way to make sure she shows, even though people can do terrible things, that doesn't necessarily mean they're like 100% a terrible person, right? And so, yeah, we even see that with Takumi, right? Even though we want to just not like Takumi. But again, the author goes out of her way to show the really cute moments with Takumi, to show that, oh yeah, that night when Nana O, she ran away when she found out Nana K was pregnant, we had Takumi be there, we had him offer to take control of everything and take care of the baby, give child support, even if Nana K wasn't going to stay with him. She wrote that, he gave her the choice to leave and be with her family. He'll still pay child support. Like, you get me? He housed her and made sure she's fed, made sure she is sleeping comfortably, all that. Like, she made sure to go out of her way to show this character doing all those things instead of this character just being a completely a-hole of a character, right? Because we've seen characters like that, right? But that's not Takumi. Like, whether we like it or not, that's not Takumi. Not justifying what he did at all, of course not. But just saying that's what, like, again, Nana is like really realistic and showing like there's layers to every single character. So again, I'm not a Nana K hater. She is annoying, I will say that, right? But I mean, just because somebody's annoying don't mean you hate them. Because at the end of the day, one thing about Nana K, she might not be able to provide a whole bunch of value to her friend Junko, but she has a lot of love to give. It's just sad that she won't give it to herself first, right? She wants to be like a housewife. She wants to, we see that even with her and Shoji. Like, I'll cook and clean, I'll do this, I'll do that. Of course, you take care of me. I don't want to get a job and do this and do that. Have to, do all that. But I'll cook, I'll clean. I'll always be there for you when you come home, and I'll have my little apron on. I'll do this, I'll do that. Like, she has a lot of love to give. She just needs to redirect it to herself first, right? And then go from there, okay? What they say, pour into yourself first, and everybody else should get the overflow. Nana K has not poured into herself at all, really. And she gives everybody everything, okay? Or whoever she's trying to center at the time, everything, leaves herself with nothing. So then when that person that she's centering at the time, there's a fear of them even leaving. That's when she just starts making these terrible decisions to keep that person there, because that's her center, right? She needs to start pouring into her, understanding that she needs to be the center, right? And then everybody else gets the overflow, right? But yeah, that's what she needs to do. And that's another thing why, again, she would never really be able to pour into Junko or give her good advice, because she has yet to do that. And that's, again, going back into when Junko was like, you know, hey, I don't want you to always be the victim, right? During that whole Shoji situation, because even think about the Demon Lord. And I might make it a whole nother video on this. Nana K created this Demon Lord so that she can remain the victim in her life, okay? Think about it. And I'll make a video and I'll show the screenshots, but every time something went wrong in her life, she blamed it on the Demon Lord. Instead of looking at, hey, you know what? This is why that happened. Maybe I shouldn't do that no more. Yeah. And even it got to a point where I think she was over there with Junko and Kyosuke, and she was like, oh, the Demon Lord. And Kyosuke was like, dang, maybe that Demon Lord is real. And Junko's like, no, if Nana just wouldn't have done this, then this wouldn't have happened. It ain't no Demon Lord. So that's another part of it, of like, you know, with her like trying to be like oblivious or trying to avoid taking accountability, like she's always going to be that victim. That is going to stop you from being able to center yourself, pour into yourself, to overflow into your friends and family, whoever, because it's like, oh, woe is me. Things keep happening to me. There's no way that I can even move past this. I can't really grow because the Demon Lord just won't let me. You feel me? Like, that's how she's operating. This 20-year-old woman, that's how she's operating. That's not a way to operate. That's not a way to move at all. So, yeah. I don't think she's a bad person. She's just immature. You know, she's selfish, and, you know, she could be manipulative and things like that. But ultimately, not a bad person, right? Like I said, I feel like she has a lot of love to give. She just doesn't have a lot of love for herself. And that needs to change for her to really be a better friend. And we can even go a step further and say, like, until Nana K gives that love to herself, she really can't fulfill any role fully. And you really think about that. Like, the big part of why, you know, all this mess happened with Takumi and the Nana O and this, that, and the third. Yes, with Nana O and her, a big part of it is the fact that, you know, she don't even understand that she like girls. And she didn't understand that she liked girls. And every time she gets a little fantasy of her, Nana O, whatever the case is, she thinks that she needs to get with a guy. And that's why she acting all freaky. It's like, no, you like that girl. That's what that is. A guy ain't gonna fix it. You still gonna have these feelings. For one. But for two, a big part of it is because Nana K doesn't love herself, right? Doesn't know her self-worth, doesn't love herself. She needs to go to therapy. But imagine if she would have poured into herself, went to therapy, you know, did the work that she needed to do, she would know what she wants. She would know what she wanted, right? And she would know what she wants in life, right? She would know what actually makes her happy, and she wouldn't be afraid of being alone. So then when it came down to, you know, going between Nana O, right, and Takumi, first of all, she probably wouldn't even stay with Takumi because she would have been like, I deserve better than this. So boom, clock that. That would have been out, right? She probably would have, let's say if she's not ready to confront those feelings for Nana O, okay, whatever. She would have been with somebody like Nobu, right? And let's be real, even go back to Shoji. If, let's say all the therapy and all that happened before she got on that train, okay, to be with Shoji. And let's take it a little further back. Even with her and Shoji, she probably wouldn't have even slept with Shoji that night. She told that man, first of all, he was like, okay, well, we talked. Now, after he left her out on the street, okay, after getting mad, because rightfully so, she was playing, let's be real. He left her out on the street, then they was in the hotel room that night, and she was like, he was okay, well, let's do it. She's like, dang, you're not going to try to romance me or nothing? Should have already clocked it right there. Then he was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, and she was like, okay, well, fine, just tell me you love me. Clock that, because don't just have him say you love you just to get the draw. And then he wasn't even trying to say that. So you should have clocked it right there, honey. She gonna say, it's okay, I heard your heart say it. Girl, Therapy would have fixed all of this. They could have definitely helped Sheen. For example, first off, Nana O couldn't have let him join the band. Simple as that. But it just shows that everybody was putting what they wanted first above ethics and morals and things like that, right? Nana O shouldn't have let him be on the band, right? But she was so fixated on beating Ren, right? And beating Trapness that she didn't give a damn. Like, she literally was like, oh, okay, you play this? Okay, you gotta be better than Ren, period. And if you can do that, we good. But then what happens when Sheen ends up getting in trouble, ends up going to jail? She ready to throw him out. Oh yeah, he don't need to be on the in the band then if he's doing that. He's an idiot. Da 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 da. Ren, you fill in for him. Girl, what? First of all, you know damn well Ren can't just jump up and perform with y'all, for one, when he's in Trapness, okay? That's not even a decision he could just up and make, for one. For two, what happened with Sheen? That's supposed to be your dude. He's supposed to be your family, part of your band. And I don't know why you talking bad about Sheen, knowing that was low-key Ren's little boy toy, which shouldn't have been happening, okay? Again, another way, because yeah, she low-key flipped out when she first saw him and Sheen kissing on each other, but she was just like, you know what? After a while, she was like, I don't even care, whatever. A problem, because you should. Because especially if that's supposed to be your man, and I know you halfway done with Ren at the time, but if that's supposed to be your man, why are you so cool with him kissing on little boys? That's weird. But like I said, that was the first strike. Like, Nana O literally could have just ended all of it by not letting him join. I'm sorry, bro. Maybe hit us up in 2 years or something. Simple as that. But again, she was so fixated on what she wanted, right? And on her revenge and beating Trapness, beating Ren. She did not give a damn about ethics or morals because they knew he was too young. Same thing with Yasu. He could have did the same thing, but he's prioritizing whatever Nana O wants. So again, not protecting him. And they knew he was smoking. They was always smoking around him. He was always smoking his damn self. And also, when they found out that he was selling his body to women, especially older women at that, what did Nana O say? She was like, you can't be doing that. That's going to be bad a rap for the band. Girl, you're not worried about this little boy selling his body? You're worried about what the band's going to do and what it's going to look like for the band? This is what I'm talking about. Again, they could have helped, okay? I understand, like, Nana K, Nobu probably couldn't do much. Takumi, even though he pulled him to the side and was like, you need to wait until you're 18. Again, he didn't do it for the right reasons. And then even later on, he talking about, wait till you're 18 because you're going to mess up her career and her reputation. You need to talk to Rayra, girl, because she a grown-ass woman, for one. But then for two, later on trying to double back to have them get back together so that Rayra will stop crying and acting up. No. Like, nobody really gave a damn about him at all. I feel like, and then of course Nana K is talking about she want to be like his mama, but then again, oh, but they love each other. As soon as he started crying, she started folding. And she didn't care no more. She was just like, oh, maybe they should just be together. Talk to me, do something, get them back together. What? Girl, you better tighten up because you have a daughter. Now you got a daughter and a son. I need you to tighten up and understand what's what. Because I do not want to see later on that something happens to your daughter. And she bringing some grown man home. And you're like, oh, well, as long as you love each other. Don't piss me off. I honestly feel like the only people that really could have done something when it came to Blast is probably like Yasu and Nana O. That's really, because, I mean, we think Nana O, right? But I feel like Yasu really has like a say. But at the same time, if Nana O wanted it, Yasu gonna do it. So honestly, Nana O would have been the defining, decision. And she didn't give a damn. So, like, I understand people are broken, they're damaged, but at the same time, that wouldn't have been hard. It just would have took some patience. That's all. Because at the time, they were trying to find somebody so they could start, the band. All it would have taken was some patience. You guys are in Tokyo. You're going to find somebody, honey. And you can find somebody of age. All you got to do is have some patience. That's all. But because she was so fixated on the whole Ren situation and Trapness, that blinded her from what was right. But also, let's be real, it just kind of seems like in that whole music scene, it didn't really matter. Because even in the backstories, we were seeing that Ren, was with these older women when he was back in, like, middle school and stuff like that, and high school and things like that. So who knows what was going on, okay? I mean, we even see that the people managing them later on is also doing the adult corn stuff, right? And then Misato ends up working for him, and he know dang well she underage. So really, this whole industry don't seem to care about kids at all. Again, look at what's going on in the real world and all that kind of stuff right now in the music industry, and we can see children are not protected. Even in the entertainment industry with acting and stuff like that, we can see children are not protected enough. And they do not care what happens to these children, unfortunately, right? So, but it's just sad because at some point it's like, who's going to, save these children? Like, who? It's a damn shame. Because even before he got into the band, he was groomed by that one lady that looked just like Rayra. That's what brought him even closer to Rayra in the first place. So it's like, golly. But yeah, everybody played a role. Everybody was complicit. I mean, yeah, they try to say, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this, Sheen. But it's just like, again, y'all didn't make the decisions needed to actually not be a part of being complicit in this. Just standing by, knowing what he's doing, knowing where he's going, like, having him smoke and drink in your face, like, all that stuff, like, you're complicit in it at that point. Like, come on now. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, they could have did something. But it's up to Nana O at that point, I feel. The only one that could have... And does that mean he would have stopped sleeping with women to get money? No. Because he probably would have just went right back to that lady and do it with her. And sell his body out with her because she was managing it. But at least they could have said, we did what we needed to do. Because we're not going to let that stuff fly over here. You get me? But again, like I said, it would take for them to care enough. And to not be so fixated on their own, like, selfish desires. I would, but there's not much of a relationship to talk about. If you want me to talk about how I feel about maybe Nana O's mom, then I'll say she was wrong. She was dirty for that. It's a difference. I feel like it's a difference to, give up your child to a family member or to the adoption agency because you don't have the funds, or, you're in a terrible living situation and you don't feel like you can feed them and take care of them, clothe them, this, that, and the third. But to leave your child and to be with a man, and it was a horrible situation anyway, it's just kind of like, and then later on having a whole nother family, never reaching out, never trying to go find your child again, like, that's crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when the reporter dude, or when the paparazzi dude finally found Nana O, her mom, Nana O's mom, and he was like, why'd you do it? Why'd you leave her? And she was just like, I just wasn't willing to sacrifice. Like, I just wasn't willing to sacrifice. Like, I gave her up to be with my man. And it wasn't even a good situation anyway. I was like, that ain't good enough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's a trash ass answer. I'm not going to lie. And if I was not, because by the end of the manga, it was saying, they were saying that Nana O's mom wanted to meet Nana O and meet up with her and talk to her. I'm like, girl, I would not want to talk to her. I wouldn't want to talk to her. All that's going to do is make shit worse. No, because you don't have nothing good to say for real. You don't even have a good excuse. You really did just leave me. Like, sometimes with those type of situations, it'd be like, my mom left me. She just left me. She didn't care. She left with that man. And it'd be other stuff really that happened, right? It'd be like, no, I really didn't have the funds, or this happened, or did. But in this situation, Nana O was right. Nana O was right. And this lady don't have no excuse. I'm telling you, that would literally just make things worse. I feel it would just make things worse. And then you gonna want to talk to me after my man passed? Girl, fuck. Like, honestly, go to hell. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. You had all these years. You had 20 years. I don't want to talk to you. No. Absolutely fucking not. This is crazy, bro. Like, for you to have a whole nother family is crazy. Like, that is just crazy. Like, she don't even understand that Nana O was living on her own. Like, after the grandma passed, like, she was just living on her own. Fending for herself, doing God knows what. Like, she don't even know. And she's okay with that? That's what I'm saying. Like, trash, bro. Just trash. I see why Nana O act the way she do. She had to grow up very fast. Now, does it justify the things that she be doing and saying to people and how they should be treating people? No. But I can just see, you feel me? Those abandonment issues hit so deep. Like, for your mom, right? And for it not to be a good reason either. For your mother to leave you for a man is crazy. That's why Nana O be mad at men now. She be like, men are useless and I'll take care of you, Nana K. Like, hello? And then she fall in love with a man and he leave too. Come on. Look, like I said, don't be justifying the stuff that she be doing, how she be acting with her, with people. Because sometimes she be really verbally abusive with people, okay? But I can see where those abandonment issues come from, honey. I'm like, this child is wounded. This child is wounded, honey. Okay? Oh, man. So, yeah. I mean, I can't really say nothing. They don't got much of a relationship. They don't. So, and that's on the mama. That's on the mama. You feel me? And that's why Nana O was just like, certain people shouldn't have children. Certain mothers shouldn't have children. They're not ready to have children. They're not going to be a good mother. Yeah. And Nana K felt like she didn't want to tell her after that she was pregnant at the time. But it's like, I see where that comes from, though. Her mama did her dirty. And then, so that's why it also hurts that wound with Nana K, right? Nana K at one point talking about, Nana, oh, you're more important to me than any man or any boyfriend. Later on, Nana O was like, she lied. She fucking lied. Again, another woman in her life that, she cares for, she loves, she was in love with, okay? Nana O was in love with Nana K, leaving her for a man. And it ain't shit one at that. Let's be like, okay, another time where a woman that she loves, leaving her for an ain't shit man. I'm telling you, I'm just saying. Yes, Takami's paying the money. Yes, he housed her, this, that, and the third. I will say Takami's not all bad the way how the fandom wants him to be. Again, the author went out of her way to show that, okay, he's not all bad. But, okay, let's be real. Okay, it's not a happy relationship. And it's not the best. She could have did better. Okay, I'm sure she'd be happier with Nobu. Okay, but again, leaving her for an ancient man. So it's just like, it all over again was like, you know what? Honestly, that's my 13th reason, bro. Like, Nana O was just like, F this. Honestly, I'm done. And she pregnant? Yeah, bro. I'm calling it. Go ahead and call it. But yeah, all in all, that's how I feel about the mama. She should have did better. That's what I'll say. We would have to get more of the manga to see if that was the truth or not. So far, it came out her mouth. That's the truth, right? But we would have to see more of a backstory. Honestly, quite frankly, I wish we had more backstories. I want a backstory with Junko. I want a backstory like with Reira. I want a backstory with that mama. Like just a deeper backstory. We need more backstory. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that would be nice. But, like I said, I feel like that's just, it was what it was. It just wasn't enough. I don't think that was enough. I just think, I understand humans are humans and they're going to do terrible things sometimes. And it is what it is. But I'm just like, okay, if you're going to do that though, and you just going to leave her, you didn't leave her for dead, right? Because you left her with the grandmother, but it's just like, you didn't check up on her. You didn't figure out, like, once that grandmother died, like, you didn't even know what the hell was going on with Nana O. And at that point, you ain't shit. This is what it is. And then it's different if you would have left her with the grandma and you trying to get your money up, you trying to grind, you trying to do this, do that so that you can come back and be a mama for real. You didn't do that. You just gonna start over with a whole nother family. That's crazy to me. I don't know. Like, again, me as a first time mom right now, I don't know how you can sleep at night knowing that you have a whole child out there and you don't know how they're doing. You don't know if they ate today. You don't know what's going on, especially for them to be a woman. You don't know what the hell happened to them, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. And I guess it's probably different if you actually sent her to a group home, an adoption home. Even then, you don't know what's really going on because they be doing all type of stuff in there. But at least then, it could be at least some type of peace of mind of like, hey, she can get adopted by a whole nother family. she'll stay there until she gets adopted or until she gets, to a certain age. I don't know. But for her, all that to happen, and I think what was that, middle school or high school with the grandma, and the only one was there was what, Nobu? Like, that's crazy. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that mama. Until we know more, she ain't shit for me. Especially, one more thing, especially because she could have been checking in periodically. There might have been a chance that even if she checked in with Nana O probably still didn't want nothing to do with her and probably been like, you know what, I'm grown now. Like, I'm grown enough. I don't need nothing from you. I'm already working. I'm already doing this, doing that. It would have been different if she would at least showed that she cared and showed that she wanted to know if she was okay. Showed if she wanted to, here's some extra money. Even if you don't want me in your life, I can give you something. You get me? And she ain't even do that. So it's like, yeah, that's why I say you ain't shit for real. But it's like, yeah, that's why, I don't know. She didn't really give any other explanation, just the fact that she wasn't ready to sacrifice yet. And I'm like, okay, well then you shouldn't have been riding that dang lane then. You should have just been wrapping it up if that was the case. I don't know. Like, you went through that whole pregnancy, you did everything, and then now you don't want to sacrifice. Like, girl, don't piss me off. I don't know. Anyway, don't make me talk about her. She made me mad. And one last thing. I know I keep extending it, but because of how her mama did things, I'm actually glad that Nana O is making sure that she doesn't get pregnant, and she's really stern on that with Ren. Because let's be real, Ren kept on trying to get her pregnant, honey, and she kept being like, look, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. No, I'm not ready to sacrifice yet. And that's going on that big discussion about people, whether you want to have kids, whether you don't want to have kids. If you already know that you're not ready to sacrifice, don't have kids, because, honey, one thing about it, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice every damn day. Okay, so if you're not ready for that, and even if you don't ever want to do that, don't do it. That's okay. Because one thing about it, people will be in your ear, you need to have kids, you're selfish. Are you going to take care of this baby? No. Okay. Right. I want to hear it then. I want to hear it. And same thing when people be talking about, abortion is this, Are you going to take care of the baby? Right. So I don't want to hear. Don't let nobody mess you up. Okay. Yes, Rayra is in love with Takumi, but she's still a metaphile for sleeping with Sheen most of the manga. Knowing that she's 8 years older than him and he's a minor. And the fact that she can have anybody, but she chose to be with him. Now, when you say convenient, I know what you mean. I don't know if y'all seen the video circulating around on TikTok where this woman, she was saying her husband was a metaphile. But she was saying there's different types of metaphiles. So I get what you're saying when you're like, he's convenient. She's still a metaphile though. Just to break that video down a little bit, she was just saying how there's some metaphiles that go out of their way to pursue children, right? And then other metaphiles, they wait until there's a convenient opportunity to, say a child. Like, for example, with Rayra, I can see what you mean by like, oh, he was convenient because for one, he was at the band meetups, they have the two bands, and now, you got to look at the environment, right? Because you have Nana O with Rin, and then you had Nana K with Takumi. So Rayra probably thought it was convenient of like, oh, cool, this is somebody who I can see all the time, this, that, and third. Nobody could suspect anything. On top of that, Sheen was talking about how he's a SMEX worker and how he has his rates and this, that, and the third. So she probably thought it was even more convenient because it was like, oh, okay, cool, I could just pay him for his time for 2. But then for 3, off the bat, because he was in the band, she probably, off the bat, right, didn't know for sure his age. Even though, in the beginning of the manga, though, just from looking at him, they were like, this boy cannot be 18. So I feel like she even was able to see, like, he looked young. So that's weird, right? To be like, he looked young and he's so cute. Let me just see what that's about. Weird. But that doesn't matter because even though she had found out his age and she was still doing stuff. So regardless. But regardless, if you're a metaphile that goes out of your way to get with young people or get with minors, to get with children, you're still a metaphile, right? You still like little boys or little girls. Or if you just do it because it's convenient, right? They're just there. You're still a metaphile. You still like little girls, little boys. And that's why I said, I hope they're not keeping Rin, Nana K's son, and Takumi's son away from her. Because this is what I say. When it comes to the convenient type of metaphile that wait on the opportunity, They did it once, they could do it again. I don't know if y'all seen Dawson's Creek. I don't really watch Dawson's Creek that much, but my little sister had got me on that show. And I watched, like, you know, a good point of the first season. And I don't know if y'all remember when that teacher slept with that boy, okay? And, you know, it was, again, he was flirting with her, gassing her up, doing this, doing that. And then she caved in and she slept with him. Well, first she was flirting back. Then she kissed him. Then she slept with him. And then they was having a whole relationship. And then, you know, he told his friends, because he's a child, of course, and he's sleeping with his teacher. Of course, he's going to tell his friend. And then it started a whole rumor. And then it went to court. And then he came out and lied and said that he lied about it. And just to save her behind. And then afterwards, she ended up just going to a different school, transferring to a different school. And I was like, see, that's the problem. Her ass should not be teaching no more, because just because that, I feel like, would be a situation where it's called like a convenient pedophile, because, again, there was an opportunity. Right? That doesn't mean, like, she kept on saying, oh, this is my first time doing this, I never did this before. So, but the fact of the matter, you did it, okay? And you're a teacher. Well, first of all, we don't send our kids to school to go be doing all that, okay? Your ass need to be teaching. But for two, all it takes is for another student to gas you up enough. And the thing is this, mind you, it wasn't just a one-time thing. Even if it was, still wrong. But it wasn't just a one-time thing. It was a continuous thing. They even was in a relationship. They was going out on dates, honey. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Crazy. And then she got pissed that he told. It wasn't the fact that she was doing it. She got pissed that he told. She was like, you're not supposed to tell nobody. So the next time around where she has an opportunity, who's to say she ain't going to do it again? And then just make sure she doubled down on him not saying nothing. Right. Still a pedophile. And there's levels to that stuff. Like, it's levels to just flirting back, okay? None of it's right. But not only did you flirt back, not only did you kiss him, not only did you go on dates with him, not only did you sleep with him, you kept doing it multiple times, having a whole ass relationship. So again, you're still a pedophile. She could be in love. She could have a husband and be in love with the husband, but still be doing this with this child. You're still a pedophile. And I just want us to understand, too, there is a double standard. When it comes to SA, pedophilia, all that, there's a double standard that we do when it comes to women, when it comes to men. Let's be real. Because if Takami was messing with a little girl in the manga, we would not hear the end of it. Oh, Takami's a pedophile. It would be no, oh, but he's in love with this person. And no, nobody would care. Nobody would care. And he would just be known as a pedophile. Just like how he's known, right, as a rapist. And a lot of people don't like to look at all the layers to his character just because of that, which I could totally understand. But the author does go out of her way to make him layered. He's not just a rapist, right? But what I'm saying is, because he's a man, if he was, let's say he was sleeping with Misato, or even the other Misato, not an old sister, y'all would have, again, oh no, he's a rapist. There is no convenient about that. We don't care who else he loves. He a rapist, right? So we have to understand there is a double standard, and we have to call a spade a spade. It's not right. She's a pedophile. It's not right. And she knew she was wrong doing it. And let's be real, she was a pop star. She is a pop star. She could have anybody she wanted, and it could be convenient, right? She could have hired somebody that she wanted to mess with who was her age or older as a personal assistant, a second personal assistant, okay, if she wanted to. And then just have them being like a secret. She could have easily did that. Sign an NDA, honey, and call it a day. But no, she wanted Sheen. And we know why Sheen was attracted to her, because she looked just like Sheen's abuser. The woman who was grooming him. It ain't right. And also, let's not forget that pre-privilege is a part of it too. And this is with men and women. This is a study that was even done on this. Okay, you got to look it up. When people are considered attractive, like the idea of, like, beauty, right? They're considered attractive. People they deem them as more innocent compared to people who they don't think is attractive. Okay, or like the societal norms isn't attractive, right? So it doesn't help that Reira is also a pretty woman. Right? Even the woman that groomed Sheen, she's a pretty woman. So they can get away with stuff like that. Right? Pretty privilege is a real thing, even with men. Okay? Because you literally, if Takami wasn't Nanake's type, wasn't attractive, wasn't handsome, he would not get away with the stuff he be doing or saying to people at all. But because he's attractive, or considered attractive, he gets away with a lot of stuff because he got a slick mouth and he be putting his hands on people. And if he wasn't considered handsome, he wouldn't be able to get away with that stuff. I promise you. And just being with these women and then it's like forcing himself on these women like that, he would not be able to get away with it. Okay? So we have to understand that, there's the double standard, the pretty privilege, right? But it doesn't make it right. We have to see it objectively. Okay? Yes, we understand that she's in love with Takumi, but that does not erase what she's doing with Sheen. So yeah, she does like little boys. It doesn't matter if it's convenient or not. Or like, you get me? It doesn't matter if she's going out of her way to pursue little boys. Like, oh, I know he's a little boy, so let me go. You get me? That's a different type of metaphor. But you're still sleeping with a child. You're 8 years older than him, and you know that. And you could have anybody, and you're going after him. You're wrong. You dead wrong. Period. Point blank. And we gotta call a spade a spade. It don't matter. It don't matter. So I'm actually glad you commented this so that I could talk about that, because this is a very real thing. There are different types. It's never one definition to anything for the most part. Like, there's always variations of stuff, and there's always like layers to stuff, right? It's like, it's different. It reminds me of the whole pick me conversation with Nana K, where it's just like, no, Nana K is not that. And it's just like, there's like layers and variations to what a pick me is. And she very much is one, She doesn't put other women down, but she very much does center other people. Like, she needs to be picked. She does center men, but not even just men, just anybody. She needs to be picked by somebody because she's afraid of being alone. But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad we were able to, do this little TED Talk.